Hello guys, this is Avcoor. I'm coming to you with some more Archeland content, but I'm trying to shift to a more informative style of video. Like a lot of you who watch my videos see me play, but I want to start giving some hints and tips. And this is important to me
아이리스의
as
바람,
I would
아이리스의
say
모든 것.
that I spend a little money on the
전부
game,
내가 속할 유일한 곳이야.
but as you can
아이리스의
tell,
기사는 영원히 당신을 위해 싸울 거야.
I don't spend as much money as other players. Not nearly as much. I'm kind of upset that global hasn't come yet. And if you look at Reddit, if you look at Facebook, I have made my complaints. But in this video, I want to talk about these three. I want to showcase off my three MC characters. I'm going to tell you why they're good. And I'm actually going to show you some content that if you build them up, I am going to show you content that is easy to clear if you possess these characters. Specifically these three characters. So let's start with one of
새로운
my favorite
세계,
characters in the game.
새로운 시작.
This is one thing I'm gonna say about Santa Kid. I have played like a lot of zlonggames, Goddess of Genesis, Landgresser, and as far as MCs go, this is one of the best main characters they have made. I'm serious, no lie. I'm not even lying to you. Like he gets
느낌이 묘하네. 머리가 아프면서도 개운한 것이 이게 바로 각성 후의 느낌인가?
I mean, I cleared so much content before he got to 7, and when he was at rank 6, he's gonna clear some serious content for you, as he is a green warrior that you can build really fast, and he's low investment. But what you get out of this character is amazing. So let's look at his stats. I always want to start with stats first when I talk about heroes, and then we're going to talk about their element and their weapon. So as you can tell, his stat spread is amazing for a F2P player. I mean, SHP, S physical attack, A physical defense, B magical defense, and A concentration. You couldn't ask for a better stat spread for a free hero. When you look at Matthew and Sherlock and all those other characters from zlonggames, when they start out, they suck, and the goal for you as a player is to drop them as soon as possible. Sanakin is very different. Your goal when you get this character at the start of the game is to build him as fast as possible and start developing a playstyle that is suitable to you and what you want. So when you look at that stat spread, that is the start of something beautiful. So let's go into his element. His element is super important as you actually get a free hero in Capet who is lightning. I started the game late, so I did not get Capet. But honestly, I did not hurt for not having her. Sadaka feels every gap that she feels, but there are some things that she had that he does not. And I think they're only situational where she can actually rush the opponent. She actually has a buff, which I think makes her an extremely important type of warrior. That alone, I think, makes her good. But Sadakin has his own type of buff, which is really important. And we're going to talk about that in his skill set. So he's a warrior class, and warriors are the strongest class in the game. Overall, warrior is the best. It's the most versatile class in the game. Warriors can literally do everything. There's some warriors that can heal, warriors can buff, warriors can attack, AoE attack. Some can even tank. Even he can tank. Even he's got a little tank support in his kit. So, lightning, warrior, and then we go to sword bolt. This is the only problem with Sanakin as a main character. Nobody can use his weapon, and you're gonna have to wait to unlock his exclusive weapon. But the thing I would say in counteract to that is at least you get it for free, and two ranks of his, you can get his weapon to rank 4 for free. The extra rank you actually have to pay for. So let's look at his unique passive. We'll talk about that later. Active attack damage in battle is 60% increase. This is at rank 7 because at rank 9 it goes to 20, which is amazing. So with warriors, you want your warrior to do a couple of things that will define them from other warriors. You want them to attack with high damage over the normal apparatus of what they can do. What I mean by that is when they attack, you want modifiers on that attack. You want modifiers on their basic attack. And he has that in his kit. Like all the great warriors, even a new warrior that has just come out, has modifiers on their basic attack. An inadequate warrior does not have modifiers on their basic attack. Like
어떤 곤경에
when you
처해도
look at him,
신께서 우리를 희망으로
the damage
인도하실
caused by
거다.
an active attack 16% when your HP is at 100%. That's what you want, but not at the conditions that you have. Let me show you an even worse warrior. Let's go way down here. He's always down here. I never use him, but he's always good for an example.
나는 킹스랜드의 존귀한 왕자님이시다. 신하와
Okay.
백성은 모두 고개를 숙여라.
So your
그 대신
physical attack power
내가
is
백성을 지켜줄
12%
것이니
increasing damage
이를 위해
when they're slow.
나는 사자왕에 버금갈 만큼 강해질 것이다.
Another reason why he sucks because he talks too much. But his is super conditional. That means you have to be slow for him to even get his attack increase. So that sucks win.
더 이상 제게 아름다운 혼돈의 모습을 보여주지
An event of a
않는다면
direct general attack,
저 스스로 재미있는 것을
Pre-battle
만들어낼
state.
거예요.
previous damage does 17 increases. See, there's always a condition. Sanakin does not have this.
네가 본 그대로 창공호의 함장이다.
This guy is conditional too. Like you get credit for his, and that sucks. So Sanakin's like at the top of the food chain, and that's amazing because
새로운 세계,
he's a free-to-play unit.
새로운 시작.
So his unique passive already starts out good because damage, overall damage. That means this finishes off his modifiers, which he has other modifiers. And another thing you want your warrior to do, you want your warrior to attack multiple times and get a lot of movement. And you can do that with this character. So his active attack generates an additional attack if his HP is greater than or equal to the target HP. It seems bad, but more often than not, you actually get this. So his HP stat is important, which is S, and his attack stat is important, which is S, and his crit stat is important, which is an A. So you're looking at a very complete unit. On top of that, he comes with one of the best and easiest leadership skills in the game. I use this so much that it kind of sucks that other heroes don't have such an easy access leadership skill, but the problem is you have to be at 100% HP in order to get the 10% damage increase, but it's not that hard to obtain. If you have a really good healer, this happens more often than not. So overall, we're looking at a very, very solid unit. So when we go into his skills, we'll start with this one first. Excuse me. Sacred Contract is kind of garbo to me. There's better ones that he has in his kit. So basically what this says is you use a skill, and the first hit you take after that, you get your physical damage and magic defense increased by 50%. Kind of garbo. I don't like it. This is his tanking skill. You select the empty tile near your ally and teleport there. Gain an additional action in the Thunder Move buff that lasts 2 turns. Protect allies within 1 tile radius when they're attacked by a physical attack. Take damage instead. It's not for magic, but that's okay. And consider when you use this skill, there will be a 1 turn cooldown delay since it's 3 turns and you have access to the guard skill for 2 turns. But it does increase his range and it increases his opportunity to do other stuff. And that's what you want a warrior to do. Conduction is something that a lot of lightning units get. You get current, which basically increases the critical damage done. This is for when you form green teams, like if you take on the water boss or something. This is something that you would like to have. But there is another passive that kind of challenges this one for space. There's 2 passives that he gets that are kind of mandatory to me. Like this is his AoE skill. You do zero point 0.5 physical attack to enemies within range, and turn 1 random buff into current, which is not true. It's bleeding. This is bleeding. I don't know why they messed that up. But if you combine it with this one, you get actually 2 debuffs that you put on the opponent. So that's something you need to consider. If you want to debuff a boss or something, it's really good because you can actually put 2 debuffs on the boss. And his partners are pretty easy because Helga is easy to get because she's from the SR pool. And he has this. I think Late Bloomer is kind of a must-have skill for warriors. Unless your name is Sighart, it's kind of a must-have skill for warriors. And you hit twice and you apply Exhaustion, which Exhaustion lowers your magic attack and attack. That's what it does. Really great skill. Really great skill. And you have this. I think Secret of Protection is really good because at the end of your turn, you grant solid armor to 4 allies within 2 tiles with the highest physical defense. That's kind of irrelevant. If you have your party is usually 4 people, unless you do some advanced stages. So everybody's getting physical defense plus 20. I think this is a must-have passive because it's a free buff that you get. And when you do turn order with Sanakin, more likely than not, you want him to go last or 1 turn before the healer's turn, so he can buff everybody. That's why he's good in hard and tough tank strategies. He's pretty much made for the basic run-of-the-mill PvE content. He's really good at PvE content, and I think that's where he thrives. This is his best passive, second to solid armor passive. If you have 2 anger, you actually increase your damage by 40%. This is a clutch skill, and I think when you look at the composition of Sanakin's kit, this is kind of a must-have for your more offensive sets. Don't sleep on this skill. A lot of people use it, and there's reason to value it. This is another flaw in Sanakin that I look at. Michael is not a character that you would actually want to roll for because there are better characters to spend your resources on. But I'm gonna have to go and suffer through the pool to get her. I don't want to, but it is what it is because I use Sanakin a lot, and yeah. So as far as equipment goes, his unique weapon kind of sucked at first, but it got so much better because, of course, they're paying attention. Physical attack and HP. These are the stats you want on a weapon. Either you want magic attack and HP or physical attack and HP. If you see physical attack and defense, it's not as good as it could be because between the 2 stats, HP is more desirable than the defensive stat. Like, I'm looking at my equipment, and through raw experience, I understand that if I see a piece of armor like this, it's not as good as an armor that just gives you flat HP and flat defense. You want the HP to be more than the defense, and that's pretty good armor. So this is excellent to have. His Flame Lion effect has gotten better. At first, it was if someone had current, you get these stats, but they figured out that that was absolute garbo, and people complained, yours included, and we decided that we didn't want that. And I'm glad that the devs were listening because for him to be effective, you actually have to have someone put current on the opponent, then he gets the effects. But now, increased damage immunity and fatal hit probability by 9% when extra attack is invoked. And that's pretty easy to do. Either you do it through Late Bloomer or you do it through his unique passive. Increases damage when extra attack is invoked, increases damage by 12% further. It recovers HP in end war after fatal hit damage is done. So when you do a crit, he actually rejuvenates HP. This is so clutch for him as a unit, and it really, to me, put him into A tier. For PvE, I think he's minus S tier because he's simply just so useful. So overall equipment, he has to have his unique weapon. I think of all the heroes in the MC category, all three of them, he relies on his unique weapon more because he gets more out of it. I would say the same for Ballet to an extent. For this character, his best helm is actually down here. And I think this helm is for everybody. You have magic defense, like I said, magic defense is HP increasing. You recover 17% of your HP if your HP is less than 50% at the end of an action. Launch at 1 turn intervals. This is super good. This is the best helmet for him and Ballet. So when you're looking at helmets, this is the helmet that you want, but it's super hard to get. I actually had to farm this in the new content, the Ominous Realm. So it's really hard to get, but this is extremely good. This is extremely good helm. Extremely good. And it's really good for Sanikin. As far as armor goes, his best armor is this armor, the Holy Devil armor, because you get a 20% increase in damage immunity when in combat when attacked. This armor is rare and you have to go through Ominous Challenge or find a way to get it, but it's really hard to farm. So any other generic armor will do, but this is his best armor. Pretty much the best armor for any warrior that you get your hands on. As far as SR armor goes, this is probably the best one because this one doesn't give HP. And if your HP is higher than 80%, you get 80% physical defense. But units in this game hit for either magic or physical damage. So this is why this thing is above par. So you see Burning Rock Ornament. I think this is his, excuse me, I think this is his best equipment until you get to this. The reason I say this is because it does the same thing, but it gives you more attack power and it gives you more HP because you want your Sanikin to have at least 4 move. He kind of falls off short if he does not have that extra square. And as far as runes go, Vampire is the best. People will argue that he should get Sword, but for survivability, Vampire is the best for warriors, period, general. And you get like Sword for extra attack, but overall, Vampire is the best. And that's it for Sanikin. My overall summation of him, he's like one of the best affordable characters in the game. If you have him, build him. So let's go to Avia. Avia, to me, is a good healer, but she wants to do more than just heal. Oh wow, she got a lot of magic defense, and she got a lot of magic attack, and she only got 50 points of physical defense. Whatever.
긴 꿈을 꿨어요. 등 뒤에 날개가 생겨 천개 대륙을 자유롭게 날았어요.
So let's start with her overall stats. Now I will say this about her. She has a really good stat line for a healer, but not a good stat line for a DPS, which is sometimes what you want her to do, and she can sometimes effectively do. because she's rocking AHP. AHP is so important for magic classes because I struggle with like other healers because they got
앉으시지요,
BHP,
청년이여. 자신에게 시간을 좀 내어주고 마음의
and
목소리를 들어보십시오.
because of this
태어날
BHP,
때부터
this dude got
교실에서
C.
수업하는 거 지루했는데
아비아 파엘 등대의 인도로 당신 곁에 왔습니다.
So if you see a unit
숲속의 그 작은 길에
with
있는
AHP,
풀에
just understand that that is amazing for a wizard class to have.
바람을 마시며 노래하네. 음유 시인이 노래하는 아이비스에 직접 가봐야
What
그
the hell?
정취를 느낄 수 있죠.
Alright, when you see this stat line like this, no, this is really good for a healer. AHP is good. I value HP over magic attack for a healer because they just gotta live. And you'll notice if you build her that she'll survive a lot of AoE hits in Eris Mamul's Den and Firepool. The Firepool bosses, she'll actually be able to survive the AoEs that they deal out, and that's super important for a healer to do. She's gotten even better since I ranked her up. So when you look at this, I think AHP and above for a healer is amazing. When her magic attack is B, and that's okay because in her kit she has ways to in order to increase her healing done, and with runes you can increase her healing done. So that's not a big deal. Physical defense is good. B for a healer is really good, but the combination of them both is very important. If you have a healer, you want them to have at least AHP and B physical defense. That means they're above pale. Like
아비아를 돌봐주셔서 감사합니다.
she's above
바로스 있을
pale
때보다
because look at that.
훨씬 웃음이
A,
많아졌어요.
아비아 파엘
And Avia has the same
등대의
stat
인도로
line as
당신 곁에
Clefairy.
왔습니다.
That's why people don't understand. Clefairy is better than Avia because of her skills and her unique passive. Stat wise, they are exactly the same. Though Clefairy, if you look into the numbers, has a little more stat points in HP, magic attack, and physical defense, but at this point, it doesn't really matter. Unless you're really serious about PvP, it doesn't really matter. Concentration is good because sometimes she crits, and that makes all the difference. S magical defense allows her to be a pseudo tank for magic, which she can actually do really well. So when you look at her element, light is perfect for healers because they don't have a weakness and they survive AoEs way better. Priest is a healing class, one of the most necessary classes in the game, and staff is good, but when you build Avia, you can only share so much of your equipment with other healers. Like she shares her equipment with Alicia, whereas Clefairy can share her equipment with Lohanes. She could share her equipment with Balek. She could share her equipment with the newest healer in the game, Hazel.
책에서는 그가 수많은 악마와 마주했다고
So
했어요.
overall building,
악마는 그
아비아 파엘
she is less flexible than Clefairy. But if you're an Alicia player, then you really don't have a problem. So overall, this is all good. Soul of Life is actually a solid passive. It's not as good as other healer passives, but she is free to play. So allies with a 2 tiles of Avia deal increased damage with combo attacks. She's really good with warriors, additional attacks and counterattacks. She's really good with tanks. 2 of the lowest HP allies within 2 tiles of Avia will get healed by her after she uses a skill. I think this is the weakest aspect of her kit. When you look at Clefairy just ends a turn and she heals everybody. She has to use the skill and then she can heal everybody. That's why sometimes you want her to constantly use her 1C in order to get those extra 2 heals. So that's your business. But yeah, this is one of the her weaker aspects. If this was passive and you healed more people, that would be so cool. That would be so cool. But hey, it doesn't work that way. So as far as traits go, she, like I said, she has a lot of offensive skills. Like this actually attacks and you heal one ally, which is pretty solid. It does good damage, 1.5 magic damage, and when you're like low on light offense, this is really good. This is kind of like trash because there's other skills. Her 1C is always dedicated to her healing skill, so it's hard to fit this skill in. And silencing an enemy is not that important. And this is meditation, increase your magic defense and magic attack by 90% in the event of an abnormality. Magic attack and magic defense 10%. Not worth it. Pledge of Courage is really good, as this is a way for her to be passive yet active, as she can buff units as they attack, which is really important for certain maps. So this is actually really good. This is an easy condition to meet, as she's in the SR pool. This is Power of Exorcism gets better in later content as she can remove one debuff. So that is really good. This is really good because it's like an AoE heal and an attack at the same time. Really good. This is kind of a must-have when she's a dedicated healer. And it's tough to get Richard, but if you get him, you can fully like max out her traits. And she's so much better with her traits maxed out. And yeah, Richard's kind of a must for her because she needs every stat point as a healer she can get. So when you go to equipment, Sleeping Ashes is actually good. I wish it was better. But here you actually get the healing effect increase, which is important to her kit. And she gets some HP plus 2%. On a healer, excuse me, this is what you want. You want healing effect increase and HP, because those are the two things that a healer needs. HP and healing effect. So on the base level, it's doing what it's supposed to do. Increase range of your unique passive by one space, recovering one ally with the lowest HP in the battlefield after the end of action when damage skills are used for that turn. This sucks. This really freaking sucks. And I hate it. So you have to actually use an attacking skill in order to get that extra heal. That's garbage because she's supposed to be a dedicated healer. And if you do that, how does she work as a character? Explain to me, zlonggames, why would I, as a player, want to do this? She has good attacking skills. I understand that. But she doesn't have damage modifiers in her kit. She has healing modifiers. Like I said, this is good equipment. This is good effects. Why can't she get passive healing here? Or why can't she remove a debuff when she heals people? Freaking Garbo. So I don't like this part. I think she has the worst weapon out of the three. It used to be Sadakid, but they upgraded Sadakid. He's like totally badass. But they whatever, dude. Let's move on. Um, this is actually a good piece of equipment because the stats you're looking for is HP, defense, and magic attack. HP, defense, magic attack, so she could live. So this is okay, but that's actually a better piece of equipment. And this is the best piece of equipment for any healer right now because you're getting defense and you're getting HP and 10% immunity to damage in combat when attacked. Super important. This is really good too because you get defense and HP, and you can give hard armor status to a unit, defense and HP, and giving another ally pollution avoidance and unhappy avoidance status within one compartment around you, lasting one turn. HP, give one ally with the highest magic defense within two compartments, magic defense plus. Not as good. This is really good for just all around survival because you get the plus HP, but I wish it was defense here, but that's okay. This is the best piece of equipment you can give her. As far as this goes, Moonlight Robe is not good because it doesn't give HP. So let's move on. It's just what I had. This is actually one of the best pieces of equipment right here. This is really good. This is probably the best one, but on a budget, I think this is good. This is Garbo. I just beefed it up because I didn't have anything else. This is good because you get HP and physical defense, which is more important. The effects, the unique passives are less important than the stats, and I wish people would understand that. When they look at equipment, you gotta look at those stats first, then you look at the rest of this garbage. So, in case of melee attack, give enemies weak, lasting 1 turn, magic damage, immunity minus 20. This is really good equipment. Don't look past this. This is actually really good equipment. So these two are the best. I think for general use, this is really good. These two are garbage. But if you have them, build them, because I got this from what's it called? A Dog's Isle. I farmed this from a Dog's Isle, so it is what it is. But there's better pieces of equipment. As far as accessories, there's like 3 that are really good. This is really good. Healing effect plus 6, giving random buff to a target. This is really good. Where is that? This is actually really good. Healing effect plus 10%. Increase attack and defense capabilities in battle by 17% with attack by a registered shooter. Really good. This is really good. Healing effect plus 6. Removing 1 debuff when using skills of 6 hours. This is probably one of the best ones. Healing plus 6. Feigning, contamination, status, immunization. Unable to act, cannot fight back. This is really good too. So there's a couple of, so it's like 4 that are really good. They're really, really good. I think, yeah. This is okay if you want to increase your magic defense, because you do get a lot of HP from that. I think this is like better if you want to play a more defensive game, because this gives you HP and you increase your physical defense by 6%. So on some levels, she's harder to build than other heroes. All healers are, but I'm going to show you some content that she will help you clear if you use her properly. So she's a good investment. Is she the best healer? No, but on a budget, she's really good. But she starts off slow, because if you look at her traits, she gets this at level 55, which kind of sucks. You gotta suffer through it. So like when you look at her paths, you actually want to take the top path first, so you can get this, so you can get a little bit of AoE healing. Then later on, you want to go down here. So it is what it is. But she is a solid healer, and she will clear content for you.
너
So
지금
Ballet,
벨레님에게 같이
for a while, Ballet is your only tank. And she ranks up faster than other tanks, because tanks are really hard to build in this game. Tanks are super hard to build in this game because they got to get all this good stuff.
힘! 강력한 힘이다! 어서 검을 들고 나와 겨뤄보자고!
And I have to admit, I kind of like her personality really well. I'm not partial to her, but I think like she's a really good character, and she has some of the funniest parts in the game, so I like that about her. Of course, they got to show some thigh. She can't be fully armored, but she's a tank and she's not fully armored. Same thing with Gabriel. I don't understand how they do that. Anyway, when you look at raw stats, her stats are very competent. She has some deficiencies that I don't like. Like her HP is astoundingly good. Her physical defense is S as well. So these two stats make up a basic tank. And I like that. But her magic defense is C, and you're going to have to fight with that, because if she goes up against a water type opponent, she's going to get like destroyed. It happens, but sometimes if you build her properly, she can live. She can live. Like she has one of her passives allows her to survive better than you think she would. But yeah, this is one of the glaring weaknesses in her stats. For a tank, you kind of want their stat line to
이곳은 영역
look like this. S, S, S. And you don't worry about the other stats. It's kind of whatever. Like,
태어날 때부터 모든 것을 잘하는
단 한 명의 동료도 포기하지 않는다. 죽음을 두려워하지 않는 방패가 있는 한 제왕은 안전하다. 제왕의 방패 아누시야.
Yeah, you're looking
저
at
이르나, 명령을
A,
따르겠습니다.
S. But for her, it's okay because she has a lot more HP than other units. So this offsets her physical defense being at A. So that's not bad. And her magic defense is super high. And in her guard, she has ways to reduce damage, physical damage by a lot. So,
너 지금 벨렌님에게
so when you look at Belette, there are some deficiencies in her stats. And she doesn't have like as many ways to mitigate it, but she does have competent offensive potential. Not amazing, but serviceable offensive potential. When she hits, and if you equip her properly, it hurts. And that's always good for a tank to do because the best tanks can actually hit back. So when you look at her element fire, it's not the best stat for tanks. Green is really good for tanks in PvP, that is. And PvE content, like having an element is like bad unless you're doing element specific content like Fire Whirlpool, Fire Whirlpool, Tree of Branches, or as Mamu's Den, then it's okay. And as a fire tank, she's extremely good. The best fire tank currently we have now. And I don't see a reason to have another fire tank. I think the reason they haven't put one out yet is because it's going to be hard to justify a person spending money for a fire tank when you have Belette. And Belette fills the role of a fire tank extremely well. Because if you're only using her for fire-based tanking, you're not really worried about her magic defense anymore. Because the enemies she's facing will always have, excuse me, an elemental disadvantage against her. Like if you're going against the green boss in Lightning Whirlpool, she takes that enemy well. Even at level 62, she takes that boss extremely well. That's why I'm kind of more confident about taking on the Lightning Whirlpool than I am about taking on the Fire Whirlpool because I don't really have a good tank, and Gabriel cannot tank the hits from that guy. So, in that respect, she's amazing. Tanks are a must-have in this game. Not so much in PvP, but especially in PvE. So this is important. Sword and shield is super important because a lot of tanks in this game use sword and shield. A few of them use gloves. A few of them use like shield and lance. So if you're swapping equipment, that's pretty easy to do. So Hot Blooded is actually a really good passive, but though limited, you take reduced physical damage, which is really good. It maxes out at 15. You recover 50 HP when your current HP is below 30% after the battle ends. And it cycles every 2 turns. I don't know if that changes. If it cycles 1 turn at 9, she becomes super good. So I'm hoping that's the case. But when you look at her traits, she has like only a few good skills. Like only a few good skills. At 100% HP, your physical and magic defenses are increased by 10%. I don't think it's that great. This is good sometimes because you do a line AoE 5 squares ahead of you and you get armor shred, so it's okay. This allows you the revenge status, which you could avoid counterattack, which is kind of worthless. This is her go-to um, guard skill. It allows her to increase her escort range and gain revenge, so that's really good. Um, Layla is an easy character for her to obtain because she's in the SR pool. I think this is more important. This is one of the core solid armor is one of the core passives that you get. I think this is utterly useless because I barely ever use it. Only for maps where you really want her to attack because this will put burn on the opponent. So I guess it's good for that. Otherwise, I see no purpose for it. Armor of Fire is one of the best defensive passives in the game. And she gets access to that. And I think when okay, I didn't know about this at first. I watched Gatch Monkey's videos and I saw him use Bullet and use this passive. I didn't have access to it, but once I learned about it, I never take it off of her. At first, you get burn, and then you get panic, which reduces the damage they inflict, which increases her survivability by a lot and allows her to do passive damage, which is something that you want tanks to do. And sadly, most tanks do not do this. But in order to get her fully unlocked, you need Ivan Atar because for some reason he happens to be her cousin or whatever. I don't know how that works. But yeah. And then she gets another guard skill. Grant yourself Guardian. Like, if you want to, you can constantly cycle out those two guard skills so she always has two range guard. But I kind of don't see the point of that. I think this is her perfect set right here. I don't see any point of changing that. So her unique equipment is Warrior's Attire. It's simple, but it's actually effective. Of course, you want your physical HP to be plus 6 and plus your physical attack to be 6% and your HP to be plus 2%. This is always good, so you know they're thinking about these equipments because this is what we all want to see. We don't want to see defense on weapon. We want HP and attack. But look at this. I want you to look at that. Physical defense plus 6%. This is important because so you're getting attack, HP, and physical defense. That's amazing. This is what makes this equipment more amazing than it seems. I know it's not giving her like extra stuff, but keep it simple, stupid, and you'll find out that you'll get further in this game than you think when you do stuff like this. This is so clutch for her. That's why I actually want to take Warrior's Attire to rank 7. And when I get it there, I'm not going to use any other tank for any other fire tank for PvE content. There's just no need. There's nothing extra that they'll add that I actually need. Removes 2 debuffs when HP recovery from talent is activated. Seriously good stuff. She and Santa can have the both rival, but I think Santa is a little better. But sometimes I think hers is better. I debate it. I debate it. But I know obvious is trash. But that's great. So yeah, you need her unique weapon, but you can farm it. You can farm 1 from dimensions, and you can farm 2 from dimensions. Yeah, let me check. You can farm 2 from dimensions. Yeah, you can farm 2 from dimensions, and you get the other one if you actually spend money and go up the ladder, the stars event. Then you can get another one, and I think that's well worth it because I play with these characters a lot. So that's worth the investment. Like I said with Helm, this is the best Helm because at the end of your turn, you're actually recovering HP. This is actually a really good piece of equipment as well. Increasing physical defense in battle if attacked. It's the second best compared to the Dragon Armor, which she can't get. But this is her second best piece of equipment. I wish you could equip that, but you can't. So this is the best piece of equipment for any tank. And this is the second best. This is the first and this is the second. So that's really good. This is like one of the best pieces of equipment for tanks as it's doing a couple of things. You're getting physical attack, you're getting HP, and you're getting physical defense, and you're getting mobility. This is why I keep this on. But there are better pieces of equipment, albeit extremely rare to get. This, I think, is her best piece of equipment or equipment for any tank. The Ancient Guardian Talisman, because your mobility can't be reduced, your defense can't be reduced. Yeah, your defensive stats cannot be reduced, and your mobility can't be reduced. So she can guard every time. I just wish she had met HP on this, but this is her best piece of equipment. This is the second. These two are close runners up, but they don't do as much. So it is what it is. And let's go over runes, and then we'll go over obvious runes, and then I'll end the video talk about the content that you would want to play these characters in and how easily they can clear it. So for her, you want shield because you want increase in damage immunity. this is the best room for tanks, and you can use horse or whatever for HP because you want HP in defense, HP in defense. So gladiator works well as well. So gladiator, horse, and ice. If you do a two-piece, they're really good. In my last comments on Ballet, she's a must-have for late game content as you do not have to build another fire tank. There's actually a fire tank that a lot of Korean players that use, and she's really good, but she's not as easy to build as Ballet. Where's she at? I just passed her, I think. Did I? I think she's way at the bottom, I think. Melissa is actually a really good tank, but her stats are not as good. It's just her unique passive gives her some flexibility. But overall, Ballet is just easier to build. So just keep that in mind that Ballet is a very, 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 very good investment. And
아비아
with
방해.
Avia, simply put, you just want healing. You want the healing set because you get HP and healing effect plus 20%. And you want something to put her magic attack up. Or if you want to go the defensive route, you can with tree. That's what I call it like number of worlds or whatever. I just call it tree because it looks like a tree to me. Or you could give her healing. You could give her HP plus 5%, healing effect plus 20%, and magic attack. But if you want to go the defensive route, you could put more HP, so you can get 10% more HP. And I'm thinking that's something that I may have to do with my wizards because they're just so frail. They're just so frail. So it's, of course, it's healing, then magic attack if you want her to attack, or HP if you want her to survive. But let's talk about content that these characters can clear for you. I'll be quick. I'll be quick about it. But it's important for you to know where you can use these characters at. So let's go through the basic content first. On all story mode, I want to say this, all story mode, they're good in all story mode. So take that with a grain of salt that there's other characters that you can play, but your MC characters can take you through most, if not all, of the story content in this game. Even the specifically hard content that you get, like the extra stuff that you like journey and go through, they can carry you through that. All of this content is good, even Place of Emptiness. Even here in Master of Time, excuse me, Ballet, Abia, and Sanakin can actually carry you through all 6 of these, because I've done it myself, so I can attest that they can do that. All 6 of that. Palace of Emptiness as well. Even Successful Escape, all this they can get you through. Even this they can get you through. They can get you through all this content up to 6. Now when it comes to 7 and 8, they fall off at 7 and 8. But once you get the weapons and stuff from here, they can actually do this content. So dimensions is something that if you're looking to clear dimensions, the MC characters can do. And Dog's Knife, 33, 42, and 53, they can help you with all these. At the level 60s, it gets kind of difficult. They're only good in certain maps when you get to level 60, and that's fine. So in Eris Mamu's Den, in Demon Lair of Fire, only Avia is good in Demon Lair of Fire, and that's only to 55. But once you hit 60 and 62, she falls off. And Demon Lair of Lightning, Santa King can take you all the way to 62. And Demon Lair of Water, Santa King can take you to level 62. And Demon Lair of Lightning, Billet can take you all the way to 62. She can tank every version of this boss to level 62. So keep that in mind. All the way to 62, Avia is effective. All the way to 62. So when you look at the content they can clear, it's really good. When you go to, let me see, where is it at? Okay, when you go to, okay, when you go to Thunder Island, all the way to level 50, Billet is good in this content. So is Avia. Okay, Staticin is good all the way to level 50 in this content. And Avia is good in all of this, all the way to 60. All the way to 60 for here for Billet here, all the way to 60. And Sanakin, all the way to 60. Land of Chaos, I use Sanakin in this. I use Sanakin in this. I cleared both of these with Sanakin in my party. And both of these I actually cleared with Avi in my party. I did not have Billet. That goes to show you how good they are. And if you see my Infinite Dream challenges, then you know that I use Avia and Seneca in that content as well. Whirlpool of Lightning, I have used Seneca all the way to 60. I haven't cleared this yet, but Whirlpool of Water, I use Seneca and I'll probably use him at level 60. And Whirlpool of Fire, I took Billet all the way to level 60. I've attempted this once and Billet was able to take the boss, but I did not win because my DPS was low. And the boss actually moved your character, so I actually have to increase the mobility of my heroes, then I should be able to clear. But Billet is good in all of this, and Lightning. And in Shadow, I use Avia all the way to level 60, and I'll probably use her at level 62. The only place I do not use them is against the fire boss, because you can't use them there because you can't take the hits and Seneca's lightning, so I did not use them there. In Academy, I use Avia all the way to 60 in tanking. I use Avia all the way to 60 in healing. I use her all the way to 60 in magic. So I use Avia for all of these. I use Sanakin all the way to level 60. I even use Sanakin here. I did not use Sanakin here. I did not use Sanakin here. I used Sanakin all the way to level 60 here. So Billet I used in tanking, and I actually use Billet here to tank as well. But at level 60 I use Gabriel, but at level 55 I did use Billet. And this I only use Sanakin at level 60. Here I did not use any other characters. Underground fighting, I used all of them to get to level 60. Branches of the Forest, I've used Billet to get to every level. I use Billet in. I use her all the way to 26 here. I use Sanakin all the way to 25. And Billet and Avia, I use her to get all the way to level 30. So that's how powerful these characters is. That's how powerful these characters are. That's how far I took them. So if you have cleared more than me, good for you. But if you cleared less than me, then I promise you that if you invest in these characters, they will take you all the way to the top. Even in Abyss, when I cleared this, I actually had Avia and Sadakin in my party when I got the SS clear. And when I did S clear, let's see, when you look at my team, will I even show it? Okay, you can see that I had Avia and main character in my party. So, and I'm 407 on this one. So yeah, they're well worth it. And if you invest in them, you will have the same results, if not better. If you like my content, hit the like, share, subscribe button. I'll get back to you. Have a great day and goodbye.